For those of you that are struggling, disconnecting from your body in the bedroom, you're disconnected from your voice, your truth, your boundaries, your essence as a feminine woman, I'm so excited for you to be listening to today's podcast. I am joined by Allana Pratt. She is a global media personality and go-to authority for those ready to heal heartbreak, live unapologetically, and attract a soul-shaking relationship. For the last 20 years, Allana's brave willingness to heal her own heart makes her authentic, relatable, and credible in her proven coaching programs and intimacy retreats. Her new Patreon channel reveals raw, heartfelt, and sensual behind-the-scenes footage of how intimacy is an inside job. Today's episode, we talked so much about boundaries, not outsourcing your truth, coming home to yourself. She is full of wisdom, and I am so excited to be having her, for you guys to be listening to her. As always, please make sure that you leave a review on the podcast if you haven't already. It's the best way to support the show. And make sure that also, if you love today's episode, that you tag me and her in your Instagram story to also help spread it to any of your friends, colleagues, clients, followers. No matter how big you are on Instagram, every little Instagram story does actually really help spread the message. All right, let's dive into the show. All right, let's dive in. Allana, I'm so excited to have you on the podcast. We did an amazing episode on Allana's show. So anybody wanting to listen to that, I was about to pop. We did it back in like May or something. And now I am a mother and have nearly a 5-month-old. Like that is crazy.
How did that happen so fast?
I know.
Wow.
I mean, he's teething and I'm like, how are we in this already? It's insane. Time just flies. But let's firstly, I want to hear about the sabbatical that you went on and the reasons why you went on the sabbatical, why it was calling you, what you got out of it. Let's just start with that.
Yeah. I have been an overachieving, hypervigilant, level 4 trauma, badass businesswoman for most of my life until about 5 years ago when everything screeched to a halt. And basically, personally and professionally, everything fell apart because it was time for me to finally get the next level of help to integrate my trauma. I did so. We can go into the story if it helps other people later about what I discovered. But basically, one of the healing practices was that I now know how to rest. I had never taken a sabbatical in 22 years of being a professional. And the first sabbatical required me being in the hurricane in North Carolina, where there was no power, no nothing.
That was forced upon you.
Forced upon me. So that was a 1-month sabbatical as like trauma integration.
Right.
And then I'm like, but that was really good. I actually started to realize my whole life was in service to others first and me last. So I was always giving from in a good intentioned place, but from empty. I didn't really actually know what full overflowing felt like. 55 years on the planet, never experienced that. So that was last year. And then this past year in July, I'm like, okay, this is going to be my new trend. Every year I'm going to take the month of July off and I'm going to fill up. And so I went to Spain, and the first week was with my shaman in the north, the Basque Mountains. And I was with about 5 or 6 other men, 1 other woman, and we did plant medicine. We did wachuma in these most exquisite mountains that you've ever seen. I sat in a several 1,000-year-old medicine wheel made of stone. All these tones came through my body. It was exquisite. And I finally laid down. It was called Stone Alley. We hiked for maybe 9 hours, Monica. It was intense. But we laid down in the middle of it all by these waterfalls. And my shaman said, are you finally willing to deal with your mother wound? And let Mother Gaia become your new mother and hold you. And my body relaxed in a way that I hadn't let myself be held. Like, I'm relaxed. Really, I am. No, actually, your shoulders aren't. Your vagina isn't. Your heart hasn't rested into your ribs. So that was exquisite. Then I went down to Seville. And I have
Oh my God, Seville is so beautiful.
Right? Okay, so I stayed in Triana where the, flamenco was birthed. Okay. And I've been a dancer since I was 5 years old. I was a professional dancer in Japan. We can talk about my topless dancing days if you want to. But
yes.
But now that I'm in my 50s, there's a passion and can I swear on your podcast?
It's me, one, and the title is Feminine as Fuck. So absolutely. All we do is swear on this podcast. Yes.
So don't fuck with me, my
Right.
pussy, my heart, my divine mind. So stamping around doing flamenco in Seville with these incredible, and they only spoke Spanish, of which I don't
Mm.
speak. So they kept saying, Allana, no, Allana, no.
Mm.
But wow, 5 full days dancing every day,
Wow.
siesta back in my apartment, and then going to see flamenco shows at night, and then going out for dinner because the
Yeah.
restaurants don't open till like 9:30. So this was exquisite. Museums, dancing, all the things. And I've since taken flamenco back in Santa Fe, New Mexico, where I've moved to. I've been in a show even. So
Wow.
oh yeah, it's my new
Congratulations.
thing. It's my new thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
You've got a hobby outside of working.
yeah, look at that balance. What do you think? Yeah. Yeah.
But I love
And
that
then,
you've, oh yeah, keep going, keep going. I want to hear more.
yeah. So just the last week. So I was there for a month
Yeah.
and then down to Mallorca, the island of Mallorca, with my fellow teacher trainers, where I study more about masculine embodiment, feminine
Mhm.
embodiment, sexual polarity, with 60 people from all around the world in this glorious beach, really getting triggered and
Mm.
integrating what it is to show up, not spinning in my mind, but deep within my body with the noble masculine, with healthy boundaries, surrendering more
Mm.
than I haven't. Also, sisterhood, healing the sisterhood betrayal wounds, all of this. It was, yeah, it was exquisite. And so I came home full. I came home full. Thank you for
Oh,
asking.
wow. That just sounds amazing. And it's so funny because I was just on a client call and we were working on her feeling safe to rest
Yes.
because one of the things that she was sharing is like whenever her cleaners are over, for example, she feels like she has to be busy and doing things
Mm,
because
mm,
she feels guilty if she
yeah.
was to just like her and her husband sit outside whilst the kids are napping and whatnot. And we were talking about the importance of support. And like for me, now stepping into motherhood fully,
Yeah.
I have leaned on support so much. And it's become something that I'm really passionate about talking about in terms of just the importance of community for women. Like you mentioned, the sisterhood wound.
Yeah.
And I mean, every woman that I know has the sisterhood wound, and it's just constantly exacerbated online because one woman shares, for example, that like she loves letting her man lead. And then, of course, the comments are just filled with like, oh, well, just wait till he does this and blah, blah, blah. And that's
Mm.
not safe for you to do that. And it's just this constant tearing down of women. And, we always blame the men. And I'm like, have you looked at the women and how they're treating you and how they're making you feel unsafe to be in your feminine, to speak your truth, to be your authentic self? Men don't really care. Like they actually don't really care, right? Like they're not the ones blowing up the DMs and, putting out all the hate. Of course, there are, some men that are doing that. But for the most part, it's women tearing other women down. And it just, in the flow on effect is that so many women don't feel safe to ask for support. And you said before that for the first time, you've like put yourself first, you put everybody else first. Motherhood, and I know that you're a mum as well, Alana, so
Yeah.
would be curious to hear your thoughts on this too. But
Mm.
I I know a lot of women, it takes them time to get to this point of realizing this. And it became crystal clear, like very early on after Trip was born,
Yeah.
of I actually have to put myself first in order to put him first, right? If I am
Totally.
not rested, if I am not fed, if I am not supported, then my milk supply dips. There
Yeah.
you go. I literally cannot feed him. I cannot then keep him alive
Yes.
and support him
Yeah.
in the way that he needs to because I'm not putting
Yeah.
myself first. And it's like, I've told this to my husband, like everybody, and my team is great about this. My right hand woman, Olivia, she's always like, how can I help you more? How can I help you more? What else can I take off your plate? Because
Yeah.
if I am not, and not just from like a business perspective of I've got to be feeling great to sell and support my clients, but also if my milk supply dips, if I'm sleep deprived, if I'm feeling like I can't, be the mother that I want to be when I'm not working, that then also affects my work. And of course, it affects him as well. So, how has
Totally.
that shown up for you? And then we'll get into sex and all the other things that I want to speak to you about and like boundaries and stuff. But
Yeah.
just on that motherhood thread, how has that shown up for you and changed? Because I know from when I was on your podcast, the way that you showed up as a mom earlier on is obviously very different to now because of the work that you've done.
For sure. One thing I want us all to remember is that yes, your milk supply is down, but your body, quantum physicists say, I love interviewing quantum physicists on my podcast, 99.99999% of the universe is unseen. It's energy.
Wow.
Only 0.01% is matter, our bodies, our milk. So our babies feel our lack of presence, feel our autonomic nervous system not relaxed, and they're just an infant. It's pre-thought, it's pre-verbal. Excuse me, they're going to make it mean what's wrong with me. What did
Right.
I do wrong to not have mom's presence? And that nurturing energy that just walking into a room, you calm the baby down or not, right? And then we bring that into our clients as well, or our colleagues, or our relationships, or the bedroom, the whole thing. So when we
Yeah.
take care of ourselves, it's not just our physical body. Think about it like little eggs. Our physical body is the first one, then it's our emotional body, then it's our mental body, then it's our soul. So our body lives inside our soul. And so this idea of being at one with our soul embodiment doesn't happen when we're spinning in our head. Doesn't
Right.
happen when we're depleted, putting everyone else first. Even with a good attitude, that, sprinkles on top of the ice cream cone of shit doesn't work, right? So back over to my wisdom that's unfolded over time.
Yeah.
I had great intention, but I think my nervous system never really calmed down until he was a lot older. He's 22 now. But I remember when he was young, maybe two-ish, 1.5, 2, where he would wake up, Lord, like 4:30 in the morning and be able to
Yeah.
get himself out of the damn crib and come into my room. And finally, I asked my mentors, this is so important to surround yourself with women who've gone before you. She said, teach him to honor what it takes for you to have what you need, patience and kindness. And I said, okay, so I bought him a clock radio. He could read numbers at that point. So I said, when it says 700, then mommy has found her patience and kindness. But
Love it.
before 700, mommy has not found it yet because mommy needed to sleep.
Right.
Self-pleasure,
Right. I feel
write in
that.
her
Yeah.
journal, all the things, right? And so it took about 3 days. And what I did when he came into my room at 5:30 in the morning,
Yeah.
I did not make eye contact, but I did put my hand on the small of his back and on his shoulder. And I walked him back into his room and I tucked him into bed. And I said, mommy has not found her patience and kindness. And I shut the door. Well, all fucking hell broke loose, right? Screaming, screaming,
Right.
screaming. Day 2, he came in again, 4:30 in the morning. And again, no eye contact, but, loving touch. Same mantra. Mommy has not found her patience and kindness. Third morning, I swear, 700, he comes in trumpeting. It's 700. Have you
Oh
found
my
your
God.
patience and kindness? And I said, yes, I have. And then I told him, as we speak to the masculine, you are my hero. You are my
Mm.
hero. To see that little 1.5-year-old chest
Yeah.
puff up, like he got that when mommy honors mommy, she's better for him. And then he goes,
Yeah.
can we meditate now? And so he sat in my lap down at my
Oh.
altar and he did my mantras with me. It was adorable. And then, but this is as he got older. And this is because I also called it filling up my bucket. He also started to request as a teenager, Mom, I need to fill up my bucket. I don't want to talk.
Mm.
And I honored him realizing what he needed to do to come back into wholeness and put himself first. So these things actually stick in a way that we have no idea as they grow older. And then later in life, that's that safe autonomic nervous system that I've worked so hard to integrate. When
Yeah.
he would tell me, I remember one time he told me when he was like 16, just got his learner's license. So, Mom, there's this hot girl in Vegas, and me and the guys were going to
Oh.
drive, which is illegal to drive to Vegas with your learner's license, by the way.
Okay. Okay.
We're going to go pick her up because she's going to run away from home, and we're going to go pick her up at the airport. Okay. Now, because I'd practiced staying present, I could
Yeah.
ask questions. I'm like, tell me more. What would
Mm.
happen if the police pulled you over? What do you think about that? I could ask all
Mm.
these calm questions and I guided him back to, Mom, you never fix me. You never judge me. You always seem to get me back on track. You always have the right questions to ask. I think I'm not going to drive to Vegas after all. I'm just going to let her figure her life out, even though she's really hot. And
Yeah.
so then we had talked on the phone, Monica, at this point. So I put the phone down. I burst into tears because I'm like,
Oh
oh
my
my God.
gosh.
Right. But we
Yeah.
can develop being the askable parent for them to be safe, to talk about their batshit crazy ideas
Mm-hmm.
and to guide them like a mentor would, like a wise woman would.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I love that
I love that.
skill. And that all comes from my ability to stay in my body, my ability to integrate my unintegrated trauma wounds so that I can keep my heart open in the face of anything, sit in the fucking
Yeah.
fire and be that safe, divine feminine energy for his life.
Oh, you know, everyone needs to heal their trauma, obviously. And, we do very similar work with a different flavor. But mothers, it is so clear in my system the impact of me doing all the work that I've done on myself and all of the healing, because I can confidently say, for example, Allana, everyone, people often will say like, oh, your children trigger you. And obviously I've only had a kid for 5 months, but
Yeah.
he doesn't trigger me because I'm so self-aware.
Yeah.
And not because he triggers and then I like breathe through it or something. Like, no, the triggers are gone because I've healed that, right? More so what it can be is the patience. I have to practice the patience. If it's the 5th time in the night that he's woken up, that's when, but it's an opportunity for me to feel, wow, somehow there's more love, there's more compassion, there's more patience. And I'm like, motherhood truly is the most expansive thing that you will ever go through. And I just think what a gift, like motherhood expands us. We don't have to expand ourselves. It just does it for us, right? Our child does it for us.
Yes.
And then we're able to use that in our business, our love life, in so many other areas of our life. And I saw something the other day. I didn't know this, but I think it's like 70 something % of millionaires have more than 2 children. Like, it's just seeing, I think for, so many people these days in society, it's like motherhood takes away. Motherhood is going to mean that I can't travel. I can't do these things. I can't make all this money. And I'm like, oh, no, no, no. This has been the most powerful expander for me in my business and in my life. And I have no doubt that I'll be able to make more money as a result of being a mother because of just the wisdom and the gift and the patience and the clarity and the sheer clarity is what it is. Like, you are so decisive when you become a mom.
Yeah.
And it's incredible. Like, you can't access that level of decisiveness without being a mother. There is so many beautiful things with being a mom.
You're spot on. 2 things I want to say. One, we learn to be multidimensional beings when we're a mother. We literally gave birth through our womb, down where our intuition, our instincts, that pre-verbal, we learn to trust something different. I remember once my son came back from a trip with his dad. I was divorced since he was 1 year old, and he broke his leg when he was back in Boston. Came home, something was off. He wasn't sleeping normally. I know he had a broken leg and a cast, but something was off. I took him to the doctor. The doctor's like, he's fine. I'm like, I need that cast put back on again. You're a crazy woman. You're overreacting. You're just trying to get back at your ex. Took the cast off. Humongo blood blister. Humongous. Had I not been a bitch and followed through with my
abortion, no, quote unquote bitch, not being a bitch, actually being a mother.
Oh, no, being totally spot on,
Right.
like protector, right? But called whatever I was called.
Right.
And he didn't, the doctor didn't own it, didn't apologize, didn't look me in the eye again, put on a new cast and walked out of the room, right?
I believe it. I unfortunately believe that.
Yep. So that is something I want us to really remember, that motherhood can bring out so many of these multidimensional capacities. But you said something, motherhood, you don't have to do anything. It'll expand you.
Yeah.
If you allow expansion, Monica, you and I do. This is a unconscious competence for both of us, because when we get triggered, we instantly integrate it and we become more whole. We expand in the face of resistance, challenge, discomfort, conflict. We are wired. It's become our life purpose. But the average person, or I would say you or I, before we did this work and those challenges came at us, we didn't just automatically expand. We contracted, we resisted, we self-judged, we blamed others, we checked out, we numbed out, we did all the things, right? Because
thank you for clarifying that, because actually you're so right. Now that you said that, I'm like, yeah, pre me doing this work, I would have not been the mom that I am right now.
No, you wouldn't have been patient on the first or second try, let alone the 4th or 5th time in the night, right?
Right.
So yes, motherhood is a catalyst to bring out our superpowers, our most incredible intuition, our ability to be patience itself, which yields that if you provide the patience of eternity, it literally invites instant shifts, instant results, because you walk in as wide as the universe, right? But that is a developed capacity that you and I are, all about. And when a woman can look at motherhood, all of these challenges, all of these, you're basically living in the unknown. Everything is uncertain, which is real life. but we have these illusions that we're actually in control and we
Right.
actually know what's going to happen. No, we don't. No, we don't. So you can see this incredible baby who turns into a child, always triggering your soul or inviting your soul into greater evolution. And if you can see it that way, oh my God, I'm remembering when he was maybe 5, it was July, and he's like, let's dress up in costumes and go to the fair. I'm like, okay. And so he
Yeah.
dressed as Spider-Man. I dressed as Swamp Queen in July. We
Love
went to the
it.
Santa Monica Pier and we get there. And just because of the energy we were in and the joy, somebody in front of us in line turned around and said, hey, we've got 2 extra tickets. Do you want them? And I really appreciated it back then. I went through a 13-year custody battle. I lost my house. I lost my $250,000 savings. I went into a $250,000 debt. I had a
Wow.
really rough time for his whole upbringing from 0 to 13. And then by 15, we were still in court. And he said, Mom, I know what I'm doing. In order to stop this, I'm going to take control. I'm moving in with Dad. It'll stop court. I'm creating peace in my life. Don't stop me. So this was my
I have
life.
goosebumps.
Yeah, this was really a tough time in my life financially. And so those 2 tickets, I was like, I don't know how I'm going to pay for it, but we're going to go to the fair. And then look what the universe provided, 2 free
Yeah.
tickets. So many of these moments happened because I was willing to be led by the wisdom of God, of the divine, through my child, through these circumstances, to keep showing up and be the best mother I could in the face of the unknown and be held and be supported
Yeah.
and be met. It was extraordinary.
Wow. Okay, there's so much that I want to go into, but I want to stay on track because I know what the listeners are going to want to learn from you. So let's talk about how women these days are very numbed out, disconnected from their body, their pleasure. Obviously, it affects how they show up in their relationships. I mean, men are obviously disconnected in their own ways. And so share a little bit about your story, Allana, of like how you were really disassociated and how your trauma was keeping you in your head and out of your body. And you were very much in that performative version of you rather than actually being present. But then also share how this is a phenomenon that you're seeing in a lot of your clients where women are very disconnected from their voice, their pleasure, their body, their whole people pleasing in the bedroom, and how that's affecting every area of their life, not just what's happening in the bedroom.
Yeah. When we are wired, I'm going to call it backwards, outside in versus inside out. We look out there to be good enough, sexy enough, safe enough, not rejected, right? So it could be various levels. I was sexually abused as a kid, told it was my fault. You know, I made them do it and I liked it. I mean, really fucked up mental, right? That went
Yeah,
into me. So I became super performative just to stay alive.
right.
And my hypervigilance, which I didn't know at the time, the subconscious programming inside my body, not my Ivy League grad, brain, but the subconscious wounding and beliefs in my body was like, where's the next abuser to survive? So I would always marry the sociopath.
Right.
I would find the narcissist to try to make safe so I could live. I was not able in a subconscious level. My body was not looking for a healthy man to support me. It was looking for an abuser to survive, right? So
Right.
all of us have different levels where we caught masturbating and shamed. Did our first boyfriend call us fat? Did we not even know what a blowjob was when they asked for one? Where did we, or competition with other women, told that we were the ugly girl by the mean girl? It could be anything where our natural self-expression was shamed and made wrong. Something happened within our body to go, oh, I don't want to get hurt again. I don't want to set myself up in risk again. So who do I need to pretzel myself into to get safety, to then get love, to then get approval, to then not be alone, to not be rejected, to belong, all these things? That's running the show subconsciously in pretty much every woman I've ever met. Because show me one woman that's not been shamed for her beauty, or walked over, 10 years old to her friend's house and the other dad like slapped her on the ass or touched her in an inappropriate way. Something's happened to all of us.
Yeah.
And then when we get into the bedroom and it's time to surrender, which is the only way to have a truly epic orgasm with the universe and your partner, you must be safe to surrender.
Right.
And so whatever's going to come up that makes you think you're safe from the outside in is performative, people pleasing, saying you like it this way when you don't, faking an orgasm, not asking for what you want, doing things you don't want to do, all of this. So we want to go back to that moment where Am I in my body?
Mm.
Can I breathe? Can I speak my truth? Can I share that I'm terrified? Can I share what I really want? And start to practice, which is as brave can be. And I would really recommend sessions with you or I, or somebody
Mhm.
trained in what we're trained in. So you can integrate that moment when you leave your body, when you do perform, when you do say yes, when you mean no. We've got to go prior to that, sit in that fire, integrate the autonomic nervous system. So we come from out of your body, level 4, level 3, 2, 1, 0 point. When you get an autonomic nervous system all the way back to 0 point, there's wisdom there. There's integrated wisdom there. You no longer see what happened to you as a child or in a past relationship as wrong and bad and blaming. You can see, you can actually say thank you, because that was an invitation to integrate this so I can be the erotic creature that I'm designed to be. And I can surrender in my own self-pleasuring, and I can surrender with my partner. And we can even move into areas of BDSM or, dominant and submissive or kink, or these areas that would normally be shunned. We
Mm.
can see the sacredness in them, the beauty in them. We can feel the divine in the dark. We can bring light
Yeah.
to the dark.
Ladies, before we know it, I'm going to be opening up tickets again to come to my 2026 immersion. We have 2 this year. We have one in Paris. We have one in Atlanta. Both are pretty much the same. I very much adapt to what the room needs because I really use my intuition when I'm guiding you. But you're going to want to get on the wait list if you do not want to miss out on grabbing a ticket for one of these spaces. Now, this is a industry leading event. 3 days. It is called The Immersion. Other people have tried to replicate it. Of course, that's what happens when you're a leader in the industry. Other people have tried to replicate it, but nobody else can, because nobody else has the touch, the energy, the depth, the embodiment that I bring to the table. I want you to understand that this event is not some journaling and meditating event. This event, I mean, it's really hard to put into words what it even is. When we have women doing their testimonial videos and I ask them to describe it, they're like, I don't know how to describe it, Monica. Like, you just have to come. If you are skeptical, if you're on the fence, if you're like, I don't even know what the heck this is, just do this. Just go to the website page. Okay. You don't even have to put your name in the waitlist yet. Go to the website page and just watch the testimonial videos, because I'm a really big believer, especially with all the AI stuff out there and like, just you don't know what's real and what's fake. I'm a big believer that when you watch a video from somebody else, from somebody else's point of view, with somebody else's story, somebody else's energy, that can really help you to feel into whether something is right for you. And when I say feel into it, I don't mean feel into your ego. I mean, feel into your intuition. Okay. And if you don't listen to my podcast and whatnot, or listen to more of the episodes, what I bring to the table. You know how good I am at my job. What's probably holding you back in joining is just fear. It's ego. It's, the feeling that you get before you leap outside your comfort zone. So go and listen to the other women. That's my biggest tip for you. And something that I talk about is this phrase, empoweredly submissive, that I kind of made up because I realized that in order to truly be submissive, you actually have to be deeply empowered. And the
Yes.
women that are the most submissive, obviously in a healthy, sexy way, different to like just being passive, they fully own their no. They know how to speak their truth.
Yeah.
They can speak up. They can draw boundaries. They can put their foot down. And so when you were talking about the safety aspect, it's also, I want to hear your thoughts on this and how you've seen this help clients and also yourself. It's
Yeah.
not just safety with being with a man that makes you feel safe, but it's also your internal safety, because it doesn't
Has to
matter
be.
how safe your external environment is. If you still
Nope.
feel internally
Yep.
unsafe, you still are not going to have the sex that you want to have, right?
Of
And of
course not.
course, if you feel super internally safe, but something outside of you is unsafe, well, you're not going to be having the sex because you would be speaking up because you feel safe to then change the external environment, or, get whatever you need to then have both the internal and external environments creating that safety for you to
Yeah.
fully surrender.
Yeah.
So share with us that, but also when women are asking me, Monica, I can't have an orgasm, or I struggle to have an orgasm, blah, blah, blah. And they think that it's like, oh, I need to, okay, I want to hear your thoughts on this. Like the epitome of me being the perfect sexual erotic woman that I can be
Yeah.
is that I have to squirt. as though that is where you need to get to, instead of understanding that every woman's anatomy is different, that some women have an easier time and other women don't, that in order to have an orgasm, you have to be in such a state of surrender where the man in front of you, you feel fine for him to see the ugliest version of you, as in like you know, because when you're having an orgasm, you can't like control how you look, right? And when you're having that kind of sex that you and I are talking about, I mean, sometimes sometimes when Hal and I are having just like that mind-blowing, literally don't even know where I am sex, I'm like in a different time. Like sometimes I'll be in like the 1990s, or I'll feel like we're on Mars. Like the first time it happened, I literally was like, I don't know where I just was. Like I was not here in the bed, aware of what was happening around me. Like I am so out of body, but not in a disassociated way, right? Out of body in the state of such deep surrender. But
Yes.
that deep surrender also requires you to feel safe within yourself, because when we're worried about somebody judging us, it's really self-judgment. It requires you to feel so safe being so ugly, right? Like crying, being so raw, being so open. And that's hard for a lot of women because they don't even see that side of themselves with themselves.
Yeah. Yeah. I love this. I love that you go to Mars.
I'm getting you going.
Oh, okay. I don't even know. We need like 5 podcasts to talk about all this.
Yeah.
Okay. One must be able to be, and you use the great word here, messy. And by feeling through the messy, you see how exquisitely gorgeous you are in your messy. There was a practice I did. I have a sexual somatic healer. She's a woman. And I've had some of my greatest integrations with her because there's no trigger there. And she's not trying to come on to me, and I can't please her. So it's just, and we use plant medicine as well. We use psilocybin. But I've been able to show my ferocious, I'm going to kill you, to my complete sobbing, like complete mess, to I don't know where the edges of me end and the universe begins. I'm just liquid goo, to being, I'm being fucked open by a spaceship. What's happening? Like crazy shit goes down, like in a safe place where my body has experienced not being rejected by me or by her. And I can be obliterated and not be in control and feel safe in my body and safe with my practitioner. So for my body personally, solo self-pleasure or with a practitioner, I think a feminine practitioner, so you don't get triggered by anything, is a really wonderful step to be able to absolutely let go and then have it reflected back. You are so exquisite in your opulent queen, in your raunchy slut, in your, exquisite dragon with your fangs, like all these different parts of us, right? Like you are so, and that goes into your autonomic nervous system. And why I really love this use of plant medicine is there's that neuroplasticity for 2 weeks. We can literally rewire the way we see our body, we see our sexuality, we see our ferocious desire, we see our sacred naughty, we see our black widow that wants to fuck them and then eat them. Like all these parts of us, she's sacred too. Every part of us is sacred too, as a belief, as a knowing, as an embodiment, as an expression, and as it being received. Like that to me has been so fundamental in the freedom to then show up on a date, show up in the bedroom, show up, etc. I'm still single at this moment, but I had a really great lucid dream of meeting my guy and he was really tall. But anyways, that's
love it. We love that.
Yeah, we'll see. So then you have the embodied capacity to be yourself in the bedroom and to allow yourself to surrender and lose where you begin and they end. And then this really beautiful thing starts to happen. I believe the universe, the energy is fucking you open. And I believe the energy of that if this is like a heterosexual experience, the energy that is penetrating you, he's being fueled by that energy of the universe penetrating through him into you. So you've got the universe fucking each of you open, and then the two of you are fucking each other. So you're literally making love with life, with the universe together. And that's why I think you go to these different places, because we are multidimensional beings. Who knows how it all works? We don't need to figure it all out.
No.
But it's exquisite. It's healing. It's nurturing. And here's this other thing that happens when you're in a more closed, heady relationship. It's very transactional. You do this,
Right.
keep me safe. You do this, you pay for the bills. You do this, you give me approval. It's very transactional. I'm half empty. You're half empty. One half and half equals one. You complete me. Don't change. Control. Okay, that. Okay, whatever.
Yeah.
No, we're not doing that anymore, people. Two whole people coming together, which doesn't mean perfect. It means people responsible, taking ownership, and willing to be their unapologetic
Thank you for that
expression.
perfect thing, because
So
I'm always reminding people, like, in the personal development space, there's such this idea of like everyone needs to be perfect. And I'm so
no,
sick of it because it's not real. Like, it's all this love and light bullshit, and it's
no,
so fake
it's a
and it's
bypass.
so not real. It is. And it's this, so many women, and I'm sure you've experienced this or at least seen it. They immediately just blame him all the time, and it's like his fault. He's not this. He's gaslighting me here. He's manipulating me here. And obviously, we're not talking about like actual abusive relationships or anything like that. And they say that as though they're perfect. And I'm
Right.
like, you
Because
realize,
underneath it all, if they slow down, it's because they're not good enough. They're not pretty enough. They're not
right,
sexy enough. Right. But let's
right.
blame him
But it's
instead.
also about the inability for them to hold unconditional love for themselves and towards somebody else. Anyway, keep going on your whole tangent, 'cause I'm loving it.
100%. I'm with you. I'm with you. So we had the transactional relationship.
Yeah.
When we focus on being whole, which is not perfect, because you're never perfect, you're never going to get there.
Right.
We never arrive. Sorry, we never
Yeah,
arrived.
we don't.
We're always. This is so whole and whole coming together. No more transaction. It starts to become this figure eight, this infinity loop, where you literally awaken dormant evolutionary qualities within the other. So there's an eroticism in you that's only going to wake up in sexual partnership with someone else who's whole and takes ownership and is willing, and you're going to wake something up in them. So you become more of who you are together, not just for yourself, not just for the relationship, but for humanity. You literally become a frequency that awakens as you go into the restaurant, as you go in to pick your kid up at preschool. You're going to awaken the world simply because of your frequency and who you be. And that is so important, because actually when you get there, you're more humble, because you know you're not perfect. The more you know, the more you realize you don't know. And then you bring that sense of, I don't know what's possible making love to you tonight. I don't know what's possible with our child who doesn't want to go to university. They want to do entrepreneurship and do something different. Like, I don't know, my child might not be straight. They might be, non-binary or whatever. Like, you don't have to come from all this conclusions and it better be perfect and you better be right, because you've done your own work and you can be so open to how life wants to unfold through you.
Yeah. Oh, everything that you just shared, especially around like the unleashing all the different sides of you. I just had my 3-day immersion here in Atlanta a few weeks ago at the time of this recording. And every year, one of the biggest things that women will say beyond like the transformation of it is the safety to unleash their rage.
Yeah. Oh, this is a good piece.
Like, right? Like, okay, every time, and I'm in the room and I'm facilitating, like we do like a super intense trauma release breath work, and everyone's like having their, their moments on the floor. And then we transition to a rage release, and then we come back down and we finish with like filling them back up so no one's empty, because too many facilitators, well, they're not fucking facilitators, right? They facilitate this trauma work. And I know we've talked about this on your podcast, and that I actually know how to facilitate. And I have so many women coming to me, Allana. There was 1 or 2 of them at the event, and they were worried about coming because they've had these experiences where they've released, but then not been filled up. And they ride a high for a week, and then everything comes crumbling down because there's no integration, there's no embodiment. And it's just, anyway, whatever. So, but my point being is, as I'm facilitating this, every time I am like brought to tears of the beauty in seeing women in their fullest, ugliest, messiest, like I have goosebumps right now thinking about it, expression. It is my favorite part of the 3 days, when they are like so wild and, not to scare anybody that's thinking about coming, because when you're in the space, it doesn't actually feel as scary as listening to it right now. Listening to it right now, you're probably like, oh my God, no. But when you're in there, it's, oh my God, it's just like, it actually is nourishing, right?
Yes,
It's nourishing to be in a space like that with other feminine women that fully see you and that see that rawness as not ugly or too much or anything like that, but they see it as like art. Like I truly see
Yes,
emotion. Like the best way I can describe it is like it's like art. Like you know one of
totally.
those canvases that someone's just like flicked paint everywhere and it's
Right.
beautiful. That's kind of how I see emotion.
Yeah.
So thank you for sharing all of that. And something else that I wanted to talk about, Alana, and one of my most popular blog posts is
Mm,
titled something like taking subdom out of the bedroom,
mm.
right? And you were kind of mentioning this before. Talk to us about this idea that I've seen a lot in my practice, and I'm sure you have too, where really hyper masculine women, they will in the bedroom give themselves more permission to ask for more of the BDSM, the super subdom, like, and typically it will go more towards the very aggressive side of things because they are so in their masculine all day
Yeah.
that they just want to surrender and they don't know how to ask for that, embody it, do it in their life.
Mm,
But it seems easier to do it in the bedroom, if you will. I know for some
mm.
people, obviously, there's more shame that comes up in the bedroom. But for these women, it's like they actually give themselves more permission to ask that in the bedroom because it's seen as sexy. And a part of it could be like performative.
Yeah.
But I believe that also, and I know from my own experience, but also from the experience of, anecdotally from clients, that it's because their heart is actually really fucking craving to be cracked open and
Yeah. Yeah.
almost like to be forced into surrender because they don't know how
Mm.
to. So talk
Yeah.
to us about that phenomenon and what women can do from your lens to support them from taking their desires they have in the bedroom
Yeah.
and actually getting them met in real life.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm going to say simplify it, but it all comes down to the heart. And then
Mm,
I'll expand from there. Kind of piggybacking on what you just said about the rage practice. It to other women, and most importantly to men, when a woman can express her rage without a closed heart that blames, but with an open heart that expresses the devastation, the torture of what it's like to have been, and we can go down all the list of, she's been done wrong. When a woman can
right.
express her rage as fierce love because the heart is open, not closed, Mama Bear, fierce love. You will not do this to Mother Gaia. You will not do this to my body. You will not treat our, like, this openness is what this world needs. That is the
Right.
divine, fierce feminine rising like a phoenix. So my sense is, although I've never been to your retreats, but I love you. So I bet you have somehow in this process, especially breath work, helping them open their heart.
Mhm.
By the time they express the rage, it is not through a closed heart because
No.
that is for a man, that's rape, not ravishment.
Yeah.
Open heart, ravishment. Closed heart, rape.
Mm,
Same with a woman. Closed heart, emasculation.
yeah.
And men are terrified of that. And an open heart, fierce love. And in this like explosive intensity, that literally awakens their nobility. And we as women, I encourage us to take responsibility for that. That when whatever we express in life, we want to do it with an open heart. It's night and day. Our vibration is low or high. We're going to get defensiveness and kickback, or we're going to get awakening the best in all around us. And it all comes down to the heart. And that is easier said than done when your heart has been wounded with all the trauma that we've been talking about. Okay. So let's go over to your question about these very masculine women, that how can we have our needs met all the time, not just in the bedroom, and have it
Right.
so locked down that we need to be pinned down, maybe even too forcefully, in order to surrender, because we have not developed the capacity to surrender. Again, we're outsourcing to the man
Correct.
to fix us. That's not their
Right.
job. Their job is to have pleasure in bringing us pleasure. If
Mhm.
you ask
Yeah.
me,
Right.
that's
Right.
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 That's their job, and they're happy to do it. But they will be scared of us if our hearts are closed. They can feel it. I've literally been on a panel. It's kind of strange, 25 years ago, and there was two votes. One, who do you want to fuck? The other vote was, who would you spend 20 years with on a desert island because she would keep you on purpose? And I was the only woman in this series of workshops who had ever been voted into both categories. And it was an unconscious competence for me at
What
that time.
a strange vote. I need to understand more about this. But anyway, keep going.
Well, the men will
Well, like a
want
strange,
to,
I need like the context. Like I'm like, oh, I'm imagining like a panel and they're picking
yeah,
who would they want it.
we were on the
Right.
stage.
Okay.
So a man is inspired by wanting to fuck us open to the edges of the universe. So he wants to be able to plug in to pleasure.
Okay.
But that's just going to be a quick fix, a one night stand. He's not going to marry you. He's going to
Right.
marry
Yeah.
you. He's going to marry you if he knows that you will hold him to his purpose. But he'll have an affair on you if he doesn't want to fuck you open to God, right? So
Right.
these two qualities in a woman is what I'm going to say a noble, conscious man looks for. So we were in an exploration of developing that and doing this vote. And I was the only one in both categories.
Wow.
We talked about how did I develop this? And it was, as I said, unconscious at the time, but I was able to make it conscious. And then I started my career. And so
Okay.
back to the masculine women, it is our job to practice surrendering, not his job to dominate us open. Although he, as I said earlier, two whole people, you will awaken dormant evolutionary qualities in one another. So your job as a more masculine woman is you're going to have to schedule it in where you go for lunch, you get present, you send a text. So out of your masculine day, you first get out of your head, open your heart, get into your body, get into your pussy. And literally, this is my trick because it's actually where the energy arises. Talk with your pussy lips. Don't talk with the lips on your
Oh,
mouth. Talk with your pussy lips because
okay.
you will source the energy, you will source the nourishment, you will be in your sacred yoni, and that's what's going to come out of your mouth. Like if I was to say to you from my head right now, yes, I'm Allana Pratt. I'm cum laude graduate of Columbia University. I can tell you all the stuff from my head, but nothing's landing. Nothing really.
Right.
But if I go down into my pussy and I just go, Monica, I'm so happy to see you again. I love how we
Oh,
bring out
right.
the best in each other. I love how we talk about sacred sexuality. I love that we're motherfucking badass mothers. I'm just speaking. I'm not thinking. There's
Right.
something different about what lands.
Well, you're
So
also deeply in your body
totally.
and in your emotions and in your
In my sacred
intuition
pussy.
and in your
Yep.
right, you're in the experience rather than just thinking about the
Correct. I'm not
experience.
strategizing to get a goal to be safe or be good enough. I'm in my body where I'm already safe. I'm already connected to the divine. I'm already all that is a hot mess and magnificent all at once. I have no agenda. I'm in the present moment. There's nothing to get. I'm whole. And then I speak from truth in the moment. I have no idea what's going to come out of my mouth.
For those of you that don't know, I have created this phrase, be a lover, not a mother. I created it back in 2020 during the lockdowns. I was living in London in time when I created my program, Be a Lover, Not a Mother. And I'll often use this phrasing now when I am teaching on this topic and supporting women and helping to not emasculate their man, understand men, be in their feminine, etc. Anyway, and we all love a framework, don't we? We all love a framework that is easy to remember. So I have come up with the framework, the Lover Method, LOVER. This framework you can download via PDF. There's a PDF. You just click the link in the description below, or you can DM us on Instagram. And you will get this PDF. And I break through every single step of this framework. So LOVER. And this isn't just like, I don't know, some shit that you could Google, right? Or some shit from like ChatGPT. This is my embodied teachings. This is my methodology. This is what has helped thousands of women that I have worked with to be a lover, not a mother. And I'm giving it to you for free. So all you have to do is click the link below in the podcast. You can download the freebie. This is going to help you to really stay in that lover energy, not the mother energy. Stay in your feminine, don't emasculate. And it's just going to make it a little bit easier because you're going to remember the lover method. So in a given moment in time, you'll be able to remember that in your mind, go through the steps really quickly in your mind and be able to actually embody that. And of course, if you want the next step and deeper work with this, you can join the program, Be a Lover, Not a Mother, which by the way, I'm just going to plant the seed with this one. I am 99% sure that I'm going to be running a live version of it next year. So even if you have it, you'll be invited to join the live round, which will be like a separate offering. We'll call it the same thing, but slightly separate offering. So you might as well get it now anyway. You won't miss out on that by any means. But yeah, I'm just going to plant the seed with that one. All right. Make sure you go click the description, click the link in the description and you can download the Love the Method PDF.
So
You've just made me realize something, Allana, because
yeah,
I've been doing some media coaching since my books come out and before my book
yeah,
even came out as well. And one of the biggest things that my media coach would say is like, you need to learn to fucking introduce yourself right. Like you forget this, you know what I mean? And you've just made me realize, what is it? Like when I get on a podcast, I just want to get into it. Like
yeah.
when someone's like, introduce yourself, I'm like, oh God, it's like a really hard question for
I
some
hate that
reason,
part
right?
too. I would jump to
Yeah,
introducing me.
it's a
Thank you for
hard
introducing me.
question. And I think that I've just realized why it is. It's because I'm not sitting on a interview with this like goal orientated thing and showing up in this like performative way and thinking, I always trust what comes through. If someone's like, does Monica want to know the interview questions beforehand? Olivia's always like, nope, do not. She's always like, you can send them to her, but she's not going to look at them.
Totally.
Because I just show up and I trust what needs to come through. And I genuinely just want to help and serve. And it's actually been something I've had to work on, of introducing myself in a professional way.
It's so hard to think. I know.
It is, because that's just not, just naturally, if I'm like, I was on a panel the other month and I had to memorize my introduction because otherwise I would have completely butchered it, because I just was focused on like, I just want to give them the goods.
Yes. Why don't you do a bit of both? Why don't you speak from your pussy lips when you introduce yourself? Because when you speak from your intuition and your hips, you sense what that audience needs to know, not as a strategy and an agenda from your mind, but you can feel this group needs to hear this, and that will come out of your mouth as you introduce yourself.
I love it. Blend the two.
You don't ever have to leave your body, but you can ask your body, because your body's so wise and your body feels them and feels the field. So you'll know what to say. That's my 2 cents. But back to these masculine women of how to like expand into the day. Take your time, go into your pussy lips, send your text, and remember that the feminine is inviting, not strategizing. She feels. She says what she'd like to feel. She praises. You know, it would make me so happy if. I'd be so juicy if. You'd have to scrape me up off the floor if. You know, like
love that one.
Like when you start a sentence that way, they're listening. They're listening, right? Because you're teaching them how to win. And you're tapping into what you need, and you're valuing and honoring yourself. You're trusting yourself, which is a state of surrender. Surrender isn't just sitting on your ass doing nothing. It's action with your heart splayed wide open in the unknown, out of control. That's what it is. So you send these communications, practice going out for lunch in your feminine, asking for the door to be open, waiting for it to be open, asking to be served, and also start to play around with different archetypes. This is a really fun practice to do on a date or just out with your girlfriends. I'm going to be ditzy, crazy for men for just the lunchtime, and just spend 45 minutes being like, oh, he's so hot. Just be like goofball. I'm going to be opulent queen, and just know that my whole queendom has pleasure in my pleasure. So I'm going to just drink it all into every cell of my body. I'm going to be dominatrix. That's what I'm going to be at lunchtime. And I'm going to tell men what I want, right? And what I want them to do.
Well, it allows you to really tap into all sides of us that we naturally have. Like, that's why I'm always saying when someone's like, feminine energy is, I'm like, no. The feminine is just you being your authentic self, free of all the trauma and all of that that's made you feel like it's unsafe to be your feminine and that you have to be your masculine, because there's not being in your feminine doesn't just look like one way. One day it could be this, one moment it could be this, and then the next moment it's this. And you need to, as a woman, be able to move through all of those parts of you and not think you have to only show up as one, I call them flavors of the feminine, one flavor of the feminine.
And it's so sexy to men, and we don't think so, because now we're tying it all back into being a mother. So when I had my little boy, I would be like dorky girl. I would be like cheerleader. Like I would be all these really fun archetypes, which I didn't think were sexy. But the man, he was a really hot MMA fighter at the time I was dating him. He was like, when you are dork in the backyard, painting your bodies like Cirque du Soleil dancers, jumping on the trampoline like a loser. Like, you're so hot. You're so, I'm just like, really? I had no idea, because you're free. You're sexy.
I was about to say, exactly, right. Because you're having
expression.
fun.
Yes.
You're in joy. And the masculine, like, my husband always reminds me of this. He's like, what else can I do to take the burden off you? And by the way, my husband does not do any of this work. He's the least woo-woo, like Excel spreadsheet kind of thing, right? Kind of guy. But he is a masculine man. And men want to naturally, they don't have to learn this. They want us to feel joy. He gets off when I am sitting on the sofa watching a TV show and he's working or he's doing stuff around the house. He loves it because he loves seeing me rest, because he feels like he is showing up as a good man, right?
Yes,
and he's on purpose. Exactly. Because I'm able to rest.
And just feel that right now, viewers and listeners, what she just said, like my pussy just got really juicy. He, feeling you on the couch, feeling him providing, and feeling that energy going back and forth in a way that makes both of you better. And then see that energy like a sun going into the whole home. and your boy gets to live in that. Well done. Well done.
Thank you. Thank you. But, and yeah, but it's true. You know, even if I leave the kitchen a mess, he's like, go to bed. I've got the kitchen. And it's just those little things
Mm.
where I'm allowing myself to receive that support, like coming back to the whole support thing, even in those little ways. But the
Mhm.
best bit is that like he then feels like he's my hero because
Totally.
he is, because I'm able to rest and go to bed
Mhm.
earlier and
Yeah.
he is providing and he
Right.
knows that he's making me happy with that. Okay,
Yeah.
the last thing I want to talk about, Alana, because I know that you have mentors yourself and you are a mentor for so many people. One of
Mm.
the biggest things in regards to this like outsourcing your power kind of conversation that we've been speaking about that I'll see, and I remind women to not do this with me in different
Mhm.
ways, is I see people outsourcing their power to their therapist, their spiritual healer, their
Mm.
mentor, whatnot,
Mm.
and never actually integrating the change and the work in their
Yep.
body. And so they constantly then are like needing the other person to
Yep.
survive. And it becomes this very unhealthy codependent relationship. What
Yep.
is your take on why so many people feel stuck after quote unquote doing the work? Because I have my take, but I want to know your take.
Mm. In total transparency, when I started my work 22 years ago, I'm using my hands like this on purpose. They were the victim and I saved them.
Mm,
And I didn't consciously do this on purpose, but when a client would succeed, I felt good enough. So I
right.
kind of wanted that to fill my daddy wound or my trauma that I had not gone anywhere near. So I really believe
Mm,
our careers are our spiritual practice, our spiritual journey to become whole. So when I started to realize that was when I started to stand up and walk with them, not save them, not need them to be whole. They didn't like it. They didn't want to do the work. They liked it when I did it for them. So those clients didn't renew. But a whole other slew came in who truly valued me and wanted me to walk with them. So
yeah.
we create our reality, our vibration, our points of view, our beliefs, our traumas, everything is going to be holographically projected into the world. And so if you are in a codependent relationship with your therapist, your mentor, etc., where you need, and I'm doing that on purpose, I need them to approve of me. You're still looking from the outside in. Your job is to not let them save you, not make them affirm you. Everything you've been
Mm,
seeking, sit in the fire in the discomfort and go, where can I give that to myself? And hopefully you have a good enough mentor or coach that is not going to save you, even though I totally own that happened like a couple decades ago. I'm not there anymore. And as a coach, you want to be able, if you're a coach listening, you want to notice these moments where they need your approval and then ask a question and say, what in you is empty right now, seeking from the outside? Turn inward towards that little you,
mm.
towards your broken heart, towards your empty body. Well, let's sit together and let's help you give yourself that so you can fill up your cup from the inside out. So that's a good coach who is willing to do that and not save you.
Yeah.
And then as the practitioner or as the client, if you are doing that with your own coach, notice that you're probably doing that in every relationship of your life. You're still probably doing that with your parents. You're probably doing that with your lover or on dates. And then you're going to really fuck up your kids when you have one because you're going to want them to be the source of your worth. Okay. So it's going to screw you up in every direction. So take a deep breath, take a
And fix
brave
it.
breath and be compassionate because here
Yeah.
Allana, who's a fucking amazing coach and, millions of views on YouTube, like I'm really amazing at what I do. And I'm a
Yeah.
human. And I'm on a
Right.
path too. And I'm always working with my coaches to become even more whole,
Yeah.
vulnerable, owning of my own wounds. So we're not going to get there. Whether we're trying to get there being a squirter, trying to get there being a
Right.
perfect person, there's no there. So turn back within, come home. Because when we do that, our soul can literally come into our body. We're literally on the planet for the first time ever. Started in 2012. The fifth dimension is here. And the fifth dimension means we're going to integrate enough of our wounds that our soul, remember I said our soul is all around us, our body is in our
Mm.
soul? Yes, and our soul can actually come into our body. And that is a feeling of wholeness and oneness and connection with the divine to emanate the frequency that you're here to emanate to help this planet. This is what we're here for. So please do the work. Do the work with Monica. Contact me. This work is juicy, delicious, empowering, confident, humble.
Mhm.
Um, I think we age backwards. I think we
Oh,
orgasm better. Like all these things. I
100%.
think we become better parents. I think our businesses thrive. Everything works if you're willing to let go of all that attachment on the outside and come home on the inside. Yeah.
And I think, Allana, I know,
Well,
right?
yeah.
You
Okay.
do, you
I know.
no, but, and you know too, like
Yeah.
our businesses do thrive as a result.
Yeah.
Our children do thrive. Our
Yeah.
relation, like doing this work only brings more abundance to
Yeah.
every
Oh, yes.
single area of your life. And like, yes, it is natural Botox because you're not holding so much stress in your face
Yes.
and you are glowing from the inside out. So
Yes.
yes,
Yeah. And it feels great to be a woman and then to meet
it
sisters like
does.
you and be able to, be wind in each other's wings. I love it. It's so good to see you again.
You have so much wisdom, Allana. I cannot believe we've been talking for nearly an hour. We were like, okay, 35-ish minutes, that's what the listeners listen
Yeah.
to, but there was just
Yeah.
so much goodness in here. If you wanted to leave them with one last message, what would you say?
Your pussy, your heart, your divine mind. Create that connection. Be in your body. Honor all parts. Your eroticism. Be brave with your open heart. And don't go into the strategic mind. In the pineal, there's that center that gets turned on when your centers are open. It connects to the non-local intelligence. You'll know things you ought not to know. You'll be supported by the universe. This is what it's time to do the work for. So please contact Monica to do the work. Please contact me to do the work. When you feel the resonance, you feel listening to both of us. This is the path, and it's such an honor to be this and walk people home. Yeah.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. Thank you so much, Allana, for being here. Will you share where everybody can find you, what your
Yeah.
handles are?
My website is my name, Allana Pratt. Instagram is Allana Pratt. YouTube is Allana Pratt. Patreon is Allana Pratt. Everything's Allana Pratt.
Easy.
So just,
Easy.
go everywhere, and there I am.
I
Yeah.
love it. Thank you so much for the wisdom that you shared with us today. I know that everyone's gotten so much out of it. Ladies, please, and gentlemen, if any gentlemen are listening to this particular episode, please make sure you leave a screenshot of it on Instagram stories, tag us both, leave a review, and also go listen to my interview on Alana's show as well.
Yes,
And
please.
all of
Intimate
Alana's
conversations.
and all of Alana's other episodes have so much value. All right. We'll see you guys next week.